Hey there, 276. Welcome back for the 5.1 vending machine challenge. Just a quick reminder, although I know we just spent time doing the Choose Your Own Adventure challenge, so this is probably still fresh in your head, but do remember that all of these chapters build off of the previous ones. So in this particular challenge description, the 5.1 vending machine, I will mention selection structures without giving it, honestly, a ton of time and specific description in that. That's because by now we will have covered selection structures in chapter 4, and you should have the ability to apply those in a meaningful way. The same will go for any of the output that you need to complete for the 5.1 challenge here. So nothing goes away. We always use those previous building blocks to continue doing what we are doing here in 276. So, be reminded. Here for our vending machine, the idea of repetition is at the core of your development. However, there are a couple of other pieces that I wanted to go back and provide extra scaffolding for, so points values, because honestly, the last couple of opportunities were kind of underperformed in. So not everybody took the opportunity, not everybody understood the description, not everybody saw the points value, and built applications that were, really good and true representations of the physical analog. So the thing in the real world that people are expecting. So I have juiced the points a little bit here so as to force that. So for the first 10 points, actually, you will be recreating the physical form of a vending machine as an application. So the top, bottom, and sides need to be represented. Think about things like output formatting from chapter 3. What can you do in the way of that? Think about some of the code sample from chapter 4 where you created, or you could have created, if you saw all of our code samples from chapter 4, a string of 30 dashes right there in your output to be able to make that easier for you. There are many, many different ways to do this. Also think about colored output from chapter 4. Also think about ASCII output as ASCII art from chapter 4 to be able to increase, offset, and implement what you need to do here for the physical representation of your vending machine. I'm looking for 2 across and 2 down as the very minimum, but if you want to create more, you certainly can. I also want descriptions of those selections, including their prices. Don't do that stuff where you have a vending machine or where you are expecting a user to do an interaction and you are not letting them know what the balance of that interaction is going to be. That is hostile user design. And although there are plenty of opportunities to see that in everyday life, we do not want to recreate one of those here. Next, your vending machine will take and accept change all the way down from pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, all the way up to $20 bills, but nothing larger, and you are going to make correct change. So the portion of your application that accepts money is going to be a loop, because if I put in nickel, 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 I'm only at 20 cents so far. I'm going to need to be able to complete that loop an awful lot. I'm also going to need selection in there so that I can tell whether or not I have enough money to create, enough money to create and complete a transaction, or if I don't have enough money to complete a transaction. Looping mechanisms so that the user can make as many selections as they would like. So don't just spit out my money after my first vend. Make sure that I am getting as many items from your vending machine as I would like to. So that's another 5 points there. While you're at it, I'm putting 5 points of selection mechanisms of your choosing, whether or not you use switch statements, if else chains, whatever you need to be able to get the job done, that will be just fine. So, whatever you have to do, make sure that you are getting the job done. And the very last thing here, I'm putting points on good end user design. Remember that every good interaction between you, your application, and the user has a display that makes a specific and identifiable request. It enables the user to fulfill that request, and it tells the user that that request has been fulfilled. So make sure that you're telling me the prices, make sure that you're telling me how much money I have inputted, make sure that you tell me how much money I have left, make sure that you display the screen for me as often as necessary. So you really have to work harder each session to earn these points, and don't forget that everything builds from previous chapters into this chapter. And a final don't forget that these challenges will oftentimes take you longer than your initial budget for time. Make sure you give yourself enough time to do this, and make sure that as you come across questions that you don't hesitate to reach out and ask, so that we can answer your questions in an appropriate time frame to help get this completed on time. So there you go, 5.1 Vending Machine Challenge 276. Have at it.